All right, so we're going to go over direct, joint, and inverse variation today. Section 8.5. Direct variation is an equation in the form of y equals k times x. So I'm going to make this into a chart for you guys so it'll be easier to compare the different types of equations when you are doing this. So for direct variation, it could be in the form of y equals k times x. You could also write that as y divided by x equals k, and k is the constant. Notice that it's a linear function. As the value of x increases or decreases, the value of y will do the same. If you have an inverse variation, that equation is in the form y equals k divided by x. Okay, so notice instead of k times x, it's the constant divided by the variable. Another form that you might use would be y times x equals k. And when you're setting these problems up, it doesn't matter which one is the x and which one is the y, as long as you're consistent with how you set the problems up, okay? And then the last, let's see, in an inverse variation, as x increases, y decreases, or vice versa. Then the last kind of variation we're going to be working with is joint variation. That one is in the equation or in the form of y equals k times x times z. So your constant is multiplied by more than one more variable. You actually have 3 variables in a joint variation. And that could be as direct or inverse. Okay, any questions? All right, so the first part, we're just going to identify as direct, inverse, or joint, and we're also going to tell what the constant is. It doesn't have that part on your directions, but we're going to go ahead and include that. So on number 1, it's a times b equals 20. So the form that that is in is like the inverse, where your 2 variables are being multiplied together and it equals the constant. So this is an inverse variation, and the constant is 20. Any questions? All right, so let's look at number 2. Number 2 is y divided by x equals negative 0.5. Exactly. So this one is in the form of a direct variation. So it's a direct variation, and the constant is negative 0.5. Okay, now when they don't have a constant explicitly written, like on number 4, what would your constant be?
1.
1. If it's not there, it's understood to be 1. Very good. All right, so let's look at 5, because 5 has a couple of different things happening. We have a equals 2 times bc over d. So the numerator is a direct joint variation. You have more than one constant, or I'm sorry, more than one variable. So it's like this one, it's like your joint. So you're going to have a joint variation with b and c, and then d is like the inverse. Okay, so inverse with, whoops, shoot, can't spell, with d. Okay, any questions? I'll scoot that up a little bit so you can see it. And then your constant, of course, is going to be 2. So the k is 2. Okay, well, let's go on to the second part of this, where we're actually going to be solving for an unknown. it says use one statement to find the value of the constant of variation and then find the missing value. So we're looking at number 6. Y varies directly with X. So it's going to be a direct variation, so you're going to set your problem up in the form of Y equals the constant times X. Okay, so Y is 18 when X is 15. Find the value of Y when X is 20. So I'm going to take the data that gives me the two variables, defines the two variables, so I can plug that into the equation and solve for K. So we got 18 equals K times 15. So to solve for K, I'm just going to divide by 15, and that's going to work out to be 6 over 5. So now I'm going to use that constant value to help me find this unknown value of Y. Okay, so it's still a direct variation, so Y equals the constant times X. And so we're just going to solve that for Y, and Y is going to be 24. That's your final answer. Any questions? All right, let's do one more. Then I'll let you guys do one on your own. Let's do number 7. Number 7 is a joint variation, and it says that Y varies jointly with X and Z. So that means that your X and Z are going to be the ones multiplied together. Okay, so you got to be careful how they word that. Find Y when X is 9 and Z is negative 5. If Y is negative 90 when Z is 15 and X is negative 6. So I'm going to take the complete data for the variables, substitute it in to get the K. Okay, so negative 90 equals K times negative 6 times 15. So I just need to divide. And I should get, or you should get 1 as K. So now I'm going to take this value for K and plug it back in and solve for Y. Okay, so Y equals 1 times 9 times negative 5. So Y is going to be negative 45. Any questions? Okay, you guys do number 8, and I'll do that one up here, okay? Let's see what everybody gets. Any questions? Everybody getting 8? Everybody good? Okay.